So I will be back with chat soon. Oops. Okay. that's everything. Alright. Should we do editing now? Oh yeah, I never turned on one of those lights. So, on to, well, not exactly part 2, but part 2 as far as you guys have been present for. Hey, Swallow! Yes, I just had to make sure the chat box was still on screen. So, I did a little bit off camera. Really, not really, just putting this one clip in and finding a segment from it I like, but I'm excited to see where I can go with it now. Also, I found out that apparently I got my Twitch subscriber recently, which I didn't even know about because I guess alerts didn't tell me or something. But it happened like 8 days ago, and I just found that out this morning. So that's exciting. Alright. So this is the half where it's just kind of like overviewing, so. And what exactly am I working with on this too? No. So yeah, I'm dealing with this. Okay. Shouldn't be that hard of a voiceover. Although this is actually this might be one of the harder ones, but for the summarizing ones. I think all the audio levels are still the same. I haven't really done much on the PC since the last stream, so should all be right. Alright. So just to double check what video I'm voicing over. Nah. CPU's got to catch up. This might run better if I just only have this open when it's needed, because that draws a decent amount of CPU. Oh yeah, that's a pretty big fix. So, did I decide to do my desk in the next part? I think I did. That's the only time I really got any footage of the chair, so I'll just include it in the summary and just detail it more later on. Okay. Here at the very end of the room is the part that everybody's been waiting for. So this is where pretty much everything technology related is. All of the hardware and software and equipment that I typically would use in any kind of stream setting, or just because I feel like playing video games or whatever else. I'll try it again. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it. This is the big stuff. I don't know. I'll see how it fits first. That one feels more boastful than I'd like. Hopefully it lasts 19 seconds at least. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it. This is the big stuff. Okay, good, that's separate enough. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. Oh dear, what's happening there? Okay, good. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it. I think I can handle this. So, yeah, let's see. From like 49, or from 50 to... so from like 50 to 06, so maybe like 16, or I'll do 17 seconds and then cut out a little bit. Or I'll do like 16:30, or no, not 30, 15, because it's in 30 FPS right now. Slight discrepancy. Actually, how many more frames do I need? So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 11 more. So that'd be 26. Perfect. Is that all framed right? Yep. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the... I think I'm going to need a different chunk out of that video because it just doesn't represent it well. It just is like immediately looking down. What did I call that video? PC and consoles. I think this one's probably just best to... Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to resize it again. So how's your day been, Swallow? You're a lot further into it than I am at the moment. I'm sure something interesting's happened. Room is all of the technology. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PCs.
That was a big stutter. It's like this one part of this video.
And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
Honestly, that first part actually works pretty well.
On the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually...
Okay, why did it take so long to...
since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
It just like doesn't even do anything in that segment of watching it. That makes it really hard to edit.
On the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed.
Okay. Do I have to like start it here in order to have it?
Technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
That'll work well.
And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
Yeah. I know that I mentioned the PC in the audio and then don't really show it, but it's not exactly the emphasis at that point. And it'll be mentioned probably like another minute or less into the video, so it's not that big a deal. Software's being very laggy suddenly. I didn't cut anything, did I? Okay, no. Okay. Cut that. That. And then... yeah. I can go over enough to match that, it looks like. There we go. It's really lagging behind on a lot of stuff now. Okay, good. I didn't interfere with that accidentally. Actually, it's a pretty good place for this to be ending right before the music pop-up has to be in frame. Because then it gives time to change the scenes before that causes any issues. It's also nice that there's a little bit of stagnation at the start of this shot because it lets me fade it in for a little. What the heck? People upstairs are being very loud now. Why is it running so slow? It was running fine yesterday when I streamed it. I'm gonna check the task manager. Maybe I did something that's setting it off. It's not a good sign when the task manager says not responding. Oh. What? Apparently I'm at 100% disk usage. But only in the performance tab. Not like... So I'm at 100% disk usage here for some reason, which is why it's running so slow. But in processes, it's only at 33%. That's Steam. No. Why? Why is it like just stuck at 100% right now? Is the stream stuttering because of this? No, the stream looks fine. What the heck? Why is my PC at 100% disk usage if nothing is really using it? That's dumb. It was like the problem I had with my PC back in July. And that fixed itself just by waiting.
And here at the very far...
Well, that explains... Okay, that's good. That explains why there's times where I just hit play and it shows me like 10 seconds of a still image.
I want to hang up a blue screen or a green screen. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TV.
There goes just 5 seconds of my demo for some reason. Why? What is doing this? I bet used CPU briefly while it was loading, but like, this is not, it's 33% here and 100% here. What?
I want to hang up a blue screen or a green screen. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
Oh. That's why it barely survived, because I did crop some of it accidentally then.
That is often on the stream.
It'll move eventually. Right? There we go.
Stream or anything that is... Or anything that... Or anything that...
Okay, that's a good fade in for it. Fade out might be in the next shot, which would make more sense anyway. It would also add some consistency to the dynamics. Yeah. So that one's fully out, and then that shouldn't be moved up. Well, what's the next? Crap, not that. Okay, that's still working. I don't even know if this one needs... Why not? I might need to move it up a layer just to avoid things getting weird with the duplicate fade over there.
Me using on the stream or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointing. Anything that or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
Okay, that'd be a good place for it. Oh yeah, it doesn't let me do that. Just Control X work on these. Why is it there? Alright, it does. Why did I never think to try that in this software? That's a huge help. You gotta do the right clicker, it just puts it in the same layer as it was in. Okay. There. That just duplicates the same one backwards. So what's the first real shot of this scene? Is it still? Why? If this keeps up, I might just have to restart my PC.
Or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it.
Yeah, that works well. Decent enough time to look at it. All right. Oh wait, I already have this photo in here somewhere. There we go. It's also kind of fitting that I'm using Carlos's covers in this video because I had them playing while I was recording the footage, and you can see it in some of the footage. That's probably right. Oh, wait, I gotta check something. Alright. That should work. Did you fix anything? Nope. That's odd. So I already know that I'm going to have to do a fade in here just because that's how it works, regardless of how I clip the rest of it. Does that work? Okay. That's a nice thing. It doesn't have to be too accurate because of how fast it moves. The camera's usually not pointed at it. Consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it. That'll work. Alright. Gonna need to make sure I have one document open. Because I'm gonna need this in a bit. Is Photoshop not open? Oh, it's loading it. There we go. Because I'm gonna have to figure out how to get these shots to fit into it. This will be a weird thing to do. I might just have to export them all independently. Okay. What resolution do I even have this at? Oh, that should work. Alright. Okay. Now let's just see how that fits in. Yeah, it's also going to have to be condensed. This one I'm going to have to try really hard to match up. Okay, that's good. It just looks like it goes out of focus rather than looking like it's something different. And then the rest of these I might just do independently. Alright. Now, oh, oops, that's not what I meant to. So now I need a 19 by 20 by 1080 frame in order for it to fit correctly. Okay. So I guess we'll start with why did that not work? What? It's got a layer mask. Why isn't that not? Okay, what if I just... That worked fine. Okay. Let's try this, and then... I forgot I added that big from before. Oh, it's in brush. Oh, that's why. No, no. That's not a good one. Oh. Why am I doing that?
This is the part where I need a layer mask. Okay. That should work fine. Although it is for a separate section. Maybe one at a time is better. See how well it works. Okay. Yeah, and the reason it's full resolution is because then it has a default position on the screen that I don't need to adjust in order for it to be where it needs it. Okay. It's up into 6 video files with this one, though. Actually, it'll be 7 because I'll have to move it up for this. Or maybe I can just... No, I don't actually think I'll have to. I can tweak it around. Okay. So now there's actually saying something about this section other than the consoles. Alright. Actually, what is the other video I'm taking in? I just want to mention everything but that. Consoles up close. This might have loud audio, I don't know. There it is. Because I don't want to cause any kind of discrepancy between the two shots, or mention things that I need for this shot in the other shot. There's actually a lot of time just waving it around instead of moving. Every time I think it's going to start, it doesn't. Well, actually, what did happen after that part? Maybe that would be worth keeping in for some portion. But not where it zooms in again. That should work for that. So, actually, I don't even think I'll have to crossfade those. It might actually just be an unnecessary step. Yeah. So, one shot talking about everything but the consoles, one shot talking about the consoles,
And then that shot transitions into the zoomed out, explaining where some of the consoles that aren't on the shelf are placed. That could work. Need more space for it, though.
Camera's usually not pointed at it.
So still doing... Yep. It's really annoying. Okay. Oh, no. This side of the room is packed very densely. This side of the room has tons of stuff. How many monitors are there? I actually want to comment on that. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 monitors? I guess you could put that up to like 12 if you count certain things. To start, up on top, I have my PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in the main TV in the center as a 4th if I need it. On the left, I have a CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. And at the very bottom, I also have another CRT, just in case I want to bring one somewhere, and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. And then above those are 2 toolboxes. In the lower left corner, there is also my subwoofer and a bunch of Minecraft blocks hiding all my cable management. No. I don't know if that really even needs to get mentioned then. Oh. Okay. Oh, is it gonna... Okay. Where's it going to save that to? Okay, it should be... There we are. To start, up on top, I have... my PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in the main TV in the center as a 4th if I need it. On the left, I have a CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. It'll work for that. And at the very bottom, I also have another CRT, just in case I want to bring one somewhere, and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. And then above those are Okay. That's what I like about just doing the audio for voiceover instead of trying to do all the video, because then you can like cut out parts that are kind of weird without just having to record the entire thing. Toolboxes. Two toolboxes. Oh wow, that length actually was a really close guess. Lower left corner, there is don't know if that really even gets... Yeah. That's probably all I need to mention for that. Usually not pointed at it. To start, up on top, I have my PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in the main TV in the center as a 4th if I need it. On the left, I have a CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. And at the very bottom, I also have another CRT, just in case I want to bring one somewhere, and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. And then above those are 2 toolboxes. I want to bring it somewhere. That "and" does not need to be there. It's just a filler word. And that's the annoying thing about talking. You always put in filler words that you don't notice until you look back on it. And another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. Okay. Then it's time for some highlights. On top, I have my Okay. Actually, this is just talking about the monitors, so... Because the PC is going to be put in a lot more detail near the later portion of the video. PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in... Let's see how well this works. I don't want to do any weird overlap with it because it's a low opacity shape. The main TV in the center as a 4th if I need it. On the left, I have a see how much of a square it is. Not quite. I guess it is 4x3, not 4x4 or something. A CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. And at the very bottom, I also have another... CRT, just in case I want to bring one somewhere, and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are okay. Because the thing is, when I posted around the screenshot, a few people actually asked me what the toolboxes were, because they couldn't tell what it was, which I found kind of odd, because I didn't think that'd be something I'd even mention, because I didn't know if people would care, but 2 people have already asked me what they are, oddly enough. Two toolboxes. So let's see how those work. Up on top, I have my PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in the main TV in the center as a 4th if I need it. On the left, I have a CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. And at the very bottom, I also have another CRT, just in case I want to bring one somewhere, and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. Another CRT, just CRT. That seems unnecessary. Just in case I want to bring one somewhere, and one somewhere. RT and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Okay. I don't figure this out. RT and another HDTV HDTV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Okay. Yeah, I don't want those to overlap at all. You shouldn't need to be adjusted much. On top, I have my PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in the main TV in the center as a 4th if I need it. On the left, I have a CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. And at the very bottom, I also have another CRT and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. Okay. I have a few shots that I might not even use, like... Yeah. Like, I got a close-up of the CRT and the HD TV from, like, where I'd normally be sitting when using them, but I don't really know if there's a use for those shots now. I wonder if I can fit the video within the duration of this second song. Oh yeah, I probably can. Especially since I might cut out the music for the outro. It's turning out to be a more complex project than I envisioned. But I mean, I guess that's what happens if you want it to be a quality video and not just walking around with the camera with a single take for the entire thing, which is what I did last time and I hated it. Okay, on to the big stuff. If I need to adjust speed, I might have to put those back together somehow, or maybe take the original file. And right in the center of all that is the consoles. So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had 1 or 2, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want a game. I'm not hindered by not owning it. I'm not really a big fan of emulators, so I just kind of have everything I could find. I'll see how that works. I don't know if I like it.
And right in the center of all that is the consoles.
I don't even know if I...
And right in the center of...
Oh, hey, Josh. How's it going today? For you? I'm off doing editing things.
Of all that is the consoles.
I have to figure out how to talk about all of the consoles in a short time frame. So I'm just going to call them consoles. Because I'm guessing pretty much anybody who actually cares about the consoles enough is only going to care about the ones that they actually recognize the appearance of. So I shouldn't have to mention them too much, right? If it's a close-up shot. You made food! I have food too. I didn't open it yet. It's more of a snack because we were having dinner in like an hour or two. That reminds me, I kind of want to have my snack now. It's the sort of thing that sounds awful on a mic, though. It's a loud snack, so it's almost like ASMR. So, oh, I didn't drag it in yet.
And right in the center of all that is...
So I...
So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had...
Oh! That sounds so exciting! Can I join? I have almost no experience with Skyrim other than purchasing it and finding out that it was an unusable version.
I had one or two, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, but I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want a game. I'm not hindered by not owning it. I don't have to worry about want a game. I'm not hindered by not owning it.
I phrased that unusually. I meant to say that I wouldn't own, or that I would have the console necessary to play the game, but it sounds like, oh, I couldn't play the game if I didn't own it. Is what it sounds like I said. Oh, I get to be a special boy. I'll see what I can do. We might have family plans tonight. It depends on what hours you stream during.
This is the consoles.
I'm just gonna throw these together and see what it sounds like. I don't know. It sounds like I might need to take my car in now because, like, my front right tire is starting to lose air a lot, and I might just be able to fill it, but I don't know. It's pretty cold outside, I think.
I'm not really a big fan of emulators. So I just kind of have everything I could find. I'm not really a big fan of emulators, so I just kind of have everything I could find.
I don't know if that part needs to be in, but
so
let's see if it's cohesive. Oh yeah, because it's a video, so it's harder to stretch.
And right in the center of all that is the consoles. So I've been collecting these.
Is that actually in the video?
And right in the center of all that
that actually is part of the video. That's unfortunate. Is that really? Oh, no. That's so weird. I'll just do something dumb. Oh, bam. I could probably just reshoot it, but I don't care enough for like 3 frames. We'll do 140. That's gonna need a big drop shadow. That's weak. Maybe not like that. Alright. Do more of the editing in this software because it's much easier for still frames. I'll see if I like it at a lower opacity and hit film now. Where specifically
I've
does
been
it happen?
collecting.
Hey guy! Welcome to stream where I do things, probably. That's about it. I found out that there's just a few frames of one of these shots where the camera bugged out a little bit. So it's time to fix it. By blaming technology. Yeah, that's kind of fun. It's weird because I'm so focused on working that I don't really have a whole lot to say or to attempt to socialize like normal streams, but I mean, it's still something fun to try out. I seem to be getting a lot more support for it than I expected, considering I thought this would be a really boring idea. But I've never really watched editing streams, so I don't really know how people view it.
Is the consoles. So I've been collecting these.
This might be better just as a little thing in the corner.
All that is the consoles. So I've been collecting. And right in the center of all that is the consoles. So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had 1 or 2, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want to game. I'm not hindered by not owning it. I'm not really a big fan of emulators, so I just kind of have everything I could find.
Those last 2 are literally just filler. Like, they don't add anything at all. Wait. Did this happen? What? Whoa. The raw audio clips and the raw video clip ended up being
the exact same length down to the frame. And they were recorded completely independently of each other. That's cool. And right in the center of all that is the consoles. So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had one or two, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want to game. Well, it's time for bop, bop. I mean, technically the one that died is something else, so maybe I'm making the wrong reference. Ah, Alexa, what is my message?
One for Levi Bechtold. From Sarah Bechtold. Time to eat. Received just now.
I like that kind of message. That's the best kind of message to get. I might have to put the stream on hold. Because tonight we're having homemade burgers or something. I don't know what it is exactly, but I'm excited for it. I'm a college student. You just say food and you won. You already won. No argument. So, in that case, let's get you guys some music, and I will be back whenever I'm back. Where's... Aha! There we are. I don't know if it was the minor version. I was just whistling it. I had no intention to make it the minor version. Also, I was whistling a different theme. Because I think I was doing Me channel. He was doing the Wii Shop channel. Oh no, he was doing the Me channel on stream. Either way. There's already like 5 of them up there, and I don't want to keep them waiting. I forgot I muted the mic when I said that. I was gonna say, before I come back, see if any of you can guess what theme this is. You might know the group, but do you know what the original theme is? I'm back. Hello, Max. I should have known. Thank you for following, even. It says I have 0 viewers now. Perfect. I expected as much going on break with such a slow-paced streaming to begin with. Right in the center of all that is... But... fries. Is the consoles. So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had 1 or 2, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want to game.
Just a game or 2 game?
I want to game. Want to game.
That's probably close enough.
Game.
Let's see. It's the only shot I really took of that. Yeah, I'll try this then. Why does it fit to frame on the left, but on the right it's always full scale? Fit to frame option would be really nice if I could find it. Let's see. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Something. Okay. In total, there is somewhere around 30 of them, and for the most part, I store them in... And for the most part, I store them as they... Or I store them by... Okay. It's because I still got some food. There. That works. There's still something on the roof of my mouth. In total, depending on how you go about it, there's anywhere from about 25 to 40 consoles here. In total, depending on how you look at things, there's anywhere from about 30 to 45 consoles here. I think that's more correct. Actually, no, because there would be that one exception. In total, depending on how you decide to qualify things, there's anywhere from about 26 or 27 up to maybe even the 40s as far as how many consoles are here. No. Oh! Oops. Thanks for telling me. I didn't notice. There we go. Does that mean people are still here? Because
Twitch still says I'm at 0. Huh. I thought I was alone now. Alright. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a unique console. Okay. Yeah, it's working great. Oh, Terraria. I don't think I've ever played Terraria. I think I got it for free on the Vita at one point, though. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about... The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like... But in general, there's around 20... There we go. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you... The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a unique console. That'll work. Keep having to move this back. Honestly, if there is a part of the room I should probably have more of a focus on details, it is this part, because this is the part people care the most about. So let's get Pillar out. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's... Okay. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a... Yeah, that gap sounds weird considering the pace of the track. 25 to 30 instances of a unique console. And then for that, I'll need to do a fade. I just can't forget I have food. I did that before, and it just got cold. Intel. That transition actually works pretty nice because they line up with each other.
It's really just transitioning
Or I
from
want to
a
game.
video version to a picture version at
In
a more
total-
level. Yeah. Oh. So let's see how that all works.
Want to game. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a unique console.
Okay. I guess it only makes sense to list them off, so. Because that I could probably do a lot quicker. Earlier I was debating if I just want to mention them each, like, specifically, but I think I'm just going to mention, like, this shelf, console, 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 because that could be a lot smoother. On the first shelf, we have the Nintendo Switch, and all the way... On the first shelf, right underneath the TV... I put weird emphasis on the S. On the first shelf, directly underneath the TV, I have the Nintendo Switch. Right behind that is the Wii U gamepad, and all around that are the various rechargeable controllers that I have. That way I can all have the plugged-in ones in one place, since they don't have to be stored in... actually, can cut part of that. One level below that, I have the Wii U, one of my Wii's, the central speaker to my surround sound system, my Nintendo 64, a Retron 5, which doesn't actually work anymore, but that would be playing... NES, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Regular, and Sega Genesis, if it did work. The next shelf down, I have a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 2, and a PlayStation 1. And under that, I have the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, and the Xbox Original. Just over to the side of that, I have the Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube. And right over there on top, and right to the far left, is my main box for the sound system. And on top of that, I have the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. That should work. Because there is more in another shot. Because all of the consoles aren't in this shot. There's still like 10 missing. Oh, oops. I just called it untitled. That's fine. Oop. Shelf, we have... On the first shelf, one level below... On the first shelf, directly underneath the TV, I have the Nintendo Switch. Right behind that is the Wii U gamepad. And all around that are the various rechargeable controllers that I have. That way I can all have the plugged-in ones have. Wonderful. Console. Unique console. On the first shelf, directly underneath the TV, I have the Nintendo. Okay. How many times am I gonna have to keep moving these back? because that's the next segment. Because I don't know if you guys noticed, but the section that I keep moving back over here, this is the segment for consoles that are not in plain view. So just putting some emphasis on all the ones that aren't exactly in the main shot. And I haven't recorded audio for those yet either. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a unique console. On the first shelf, directly underneath the TV, I have the Nintendo Switch. Right behind that is the Wii U gamepad. And all around that are the various rechargeable controllers that I have. That way I can all have the plugged in. One level below that, I have the Wii U, one of my Wii's, the speaker, the central speaker to my surround sound. The Wii U, one of my Wii's. Why is there so much emphasis on it? One of the Wii's. Yeah, it'll probably be fine. The speaker have the speaker, the central speaker to my surround sound system, my Nintendo 64, a Retron 5, which doesn't actually work anymore, but that would be playing NES, Famicom, but that would be playing. Here you can see my Wii. That would be playing. Oh, oops. Which doesn't actually work. Nintendo 64, a Retron 5. Wii U, one of my Wii's, the central speaker to my surround sound system, my Nintendo 64, my Nintendo 64, a Retron 5, which doesn't actually work anymore, but that would be playing. NES, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Regular Color, Game Boy Regular, and Sega Genesis, if it did work. The next shelf down, I have a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 2, and a PlayStation 1. And under that, I have the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, and the Xbox Original. Am I going to have to push this back again? We're already 6 minutes into the video. Surprised how much time I put into this, and it's only 6 minutes into the video. Is this what full-time YouTube is like? Well, I guess not every channel has like fully edited stuff. This is more by case type project. Yes, Famicom. Just over to the side of that, I have. Get rid of that. Always just over to the side of that, I have the Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube.
Super Nintendo. I have so many consoles that it's actually taking me like 40 or 50 seconds just to actually say the name of all of them. Which is why I was uncertain if I wanted to do it, but I don't know. I could go on like a little quick rant thing and just say I'm like Wii U, N64, Retron, PS4, PS3, PS2, PS1, get Xbox 360. It's like a tongue twister when you try to say it that fast. And right over there on top, and right to the far left is, and right to the far left is my main box for the sound system, and on top of that I have the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. Honestly, where is... to worry of another CRT and another HD they're on there, and at the very bottom I also have another CRT far better on there. Oh. And at the very bottom, I also have another CRT and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. Huh. So this is convenient. Classic. Because I didn't realize these were actually in the shot I had taken. Which is why I'm adding them in now. Even though it's from a completely different recording segment. And right to the far left is my main box for the sound system, and on top of that I have the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. And at the very bottom I also have another CRT and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. That works. Jeez, that's so many audio clips for just the console wall. Better on there. And right in the... Okay, how's that transition work though? It's still there. And right in the center of all that is the consoles. So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had 1 or 2, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want a game. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a unique console. On the first shelf, directly underneath the TV, I have the Where is... I'm debating, do I just want to list the shelves or do I want to actually highlight the items independently? The Nintendo Switch, right behind that is the Wii U gamepad. And all around that are the... I think that might work better as a complete transformation of the highlight. I have the Nintendo Switch. Right behind that is the Wii U gamepad, and all around that are the various rechargeable controllers that I have. One level below that, I have the I think I'm going to try to do this individually. It'd probably just look better anyway. Okay. Wii U. One of my Wii's. The central speaker. My surround sound system. My nin. Don't you talk about my nin. I'm not even sure what it means, actually. Get in or get out. Or something like that. Nintendo 64, a Retron 4... a Retron 5, which doesn't actually work anymore. But that would be playing NES, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Regular, and Sega Genesis, if it did work.
What was that?
Work. The next...
Oh, the percussion like lines up right with where the split between two audio segments.
If it did work. The next shelf down, I have a place work. The next shelf down, I have a place.
Sheesh. The Nintendo consoles are so much smaller than the others. I don't really realize it until I need to fit a box around it.
PlayStation 4, a place.
No. Bring me back here.
PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3.
So let's get the 3. And the 2's actually really small. I'm always surprised how small the PS2 Slim is. It's like only a little bit bigger than the Switch, I think.
1, PlayStation 2, and a play. PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 2, and a PlayStation 1. And under that I have the... Oh yeah, the Xbox consoles are massive compared to the others. Or at least until the most recent iterations of them, at least. Fries. I should probably seal this. If I can even do it right. Super annoying sounds on stream. The Xbox One, the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, and I'll just get the whole thing. Just the angle makes these a little different because some of them are straight on, and then the Xbox consoles, you're looking down on them a little. I don't know, because I'm starting to think I think the Xbox original might be a little bit larger. And it definitely weighs the most of all the consoles. But I think it's the Xbox original, which... Because I guess you can see for reference just how it's right within reach, but this thing's huge. And it weighs a lot. Probably like 10 or 15 pounds, which, considering most of the other ones probably weigh like 5 at the most. This one's pretty intense. A little dusty, too. That's the thing. When it comes to consoles, them being dusty doesn't mean that they're underutilized. It just means that you don't actually reach out and clean the top of them. Oh yeah. Isn't the Xbox brand like much less prominent in Europe? Should have like held it up with the Switch when I did that for more comparison. But the thing's huge. It's like the size of like half my torso or something. The Xbox 60. All right. That's just the thing. Most Europeans I've talked to pretty much will like never talk about Xbox. But a lot of the Americans I talk to never stop singing the praises of Xbox. The Xbox original. But that could be completely down to just who I've spoken with. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are saying that it's eventually just going to come to the point where it's pretty much everybody is PC, Nintendo Switch. And, like, they just have both of those because, like, they completely offer different experiences because most games will be available between those two platforms, and one is, like, super high power at home, and another is serviceable anywhere. So, like, right now, if you were going to, like, just start getting into video games, and you're like, okay, I'm going to get 2 platforms. What do I get? PC and Switch are probably the most logical ones. Which PlayStation and Xbox are not happy about that. Yeah, pretty much. Just over to the side of that, I have the... Oh, there's so many shapes. The Sega Genesis. This. So this part's for Dream. Sega Dreamcast. Wait, should I find like a picture of his face in one of the streams and overlay it on that? I kind of want to now. Let me see. But I want to. It'd be perfect. Actually, this would be easier if I just go to Discord and open up the playlist I linked. Which ones was he a part of, though? Yeah, he wasn't here in person for any of these ones. Where's another one? No. Ah, yes. Oh, wait, no, there was a time. Oh, wait, did I text it to him? It depends how I sent it to him. But there was a time I sent him a really funny picture of himself that he had taken, or that we took. Nope. Really nowhere? Dang it. It was a clip from one of the streams. Where is it? Somewhere in my photo gallery, I think. Where is the dream? Where's the dreamy boy? I like how pretty much my entire album is just pictures taken for the sole purpose of sharing something on Discord. Or for class. I don't know, that's not a very clear picture. I don't know. Should we use the one samurai picture? I'm gonna do it. Alright. I'm just gonna share it to Discord so I can access the photo in a short time frame. Let's see. I'll put it in art and stuff on his server. All right. Does it work? Hey! There, now I can access it on PC. This is going to be weird without context. I just didn't feel like emailing it to myself and signing into Gmail or something. There we go. Oh. Bam. Bam. There we are. There's our dreamy boy. Okay. Now, let's do something weird with it. I went to New York maybe 15 or more years ago. It's been a very, very long time. Alright. And since it's going to be something super tiny for only a frame or two, I'm going to do an incredibly rushed version of outlining. Let's see, how do I even want to... Honestly, I'm just not even going to include the pants. Because this is also going to be an incredibly tiny image. I like how according to Twitch right now this counts as art. It's as it should be. Yeah, we'll just put a seal there for now. Make sure to keep in the regular hair underneath the wig to just show how apparent that is. How inherently stupid this entire situation was. This is amazing. There. Not actually that bad, considering just how fast I did the outline, because normally I'd spend like 5 times that much time on it. But this is only needed for a brief moment at a low resolution. Well, I guess we might as well boost the brightness and saturation a little bit. Oh, oops. Make it look a little more fun. Perfect. Probably could have adjusted it in frame, but I don't care. Dreamcast, Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube, and then a game. GameCube, and right to the far left is Dream. Oh my goodness, he's massive. I should probably hold shift. I'll only do it for the word dream, though. Dream. He's only on screen for the duration of the word dream. Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube. Perfect. I'm debating if I want to. Yeah, I think I might. It just fits the frame a lot better since the Dreamcast isn't really a vertical system here. And it should update automatically. Yep. It's excellent. The Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube. GameCube. A game. I'm gonna re-record that part. And then a GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment, which lets you play the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Original games. A GameCube. Oh, I already. And then a GameCube with and
Oh, hey Ryan. Look at Discord. Ah! Oh! At Discord. What's on Discord? Whoa. Now you got me started. Now it's happening. Let's see. I'd say this would help the stream greatly right now. There we go. Now it's fixed. It's so much louder than the editing. The Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment, which lets you play the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy original games. Alexa, add Metroid to my shopping list.
Metroid added to your shopping list.
And then a GameCube with and then this is always one of the themes that I found the most atmospherically fitting and appealing in the franchise. But it's from the one game in the series that is probably my favorite, and also a lot of other people who are fans of the series don't really care about this game. Yeah, I noticed that that's Torvus Bog from Metroid Prime 2, which this is the Light Aether version, which is kind of, as far as the game is split up, it's going to be the first half of the third quarter of the game. Or at least the underwater segments of it. It's fun. Yeah, this is why this isn't really the best stream for music, I guess. Game cast, and then a GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment, which lets you play the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy original games. And right to the far left is my main box for the sound system. Main box for the sound system, and on top of that I have the NES Classic and the SNES. The NES Classic and the NES Classic and the There we are.
A match made in heaven.
Or in editing software. How have I been? I've been
trying to edit this, I suppose. It's been a fun little experiment. Still getting a little bit upset with Chris at the moment, though, because, let me see Discord. Did they reply at all? Yeah. But Chris, I think, is still asleep today or something, because, we were planning on doing No More Heroes 2 both tonight or tomorrow night, or even last night. And he called off last night because it was too cold, even though it's a 3-minute drive. And then he just hasn't responded to anything today or about tomorrow, which I'm wondering when we're going to finish No More Heroes 2, because he doesn't reply until like 6 in the afternoon because he's sleeping. It's not even the afternoon at that point. SNES Classic. And Classic. And at the very bottom, I also have another. Yeah, well, it's a longer than a 3-minute walk, I guess. It's, I don't know how far it is. It's probably like half a mile, maybe a mile away. No, he's probably about a mile away. Ezra's literally like an eighth of a mile away. He walks here most of the time anyway. No, even if I offer to pick him up. CRT and another. Oh wait, that's a good one to copy. Actually, no, that one I can just add in. Yay! You're available for things. That's good. Oh. Well, I guess there's also the other one. Or the other game we've been talking about. Do you recall? We did stream it, but like no one tuned in. Left 4 Dead 2. Another HD. Which honestly, I don't know if that's really one for streaming either. It's just more fun to like play with the focus being on friends rather than an audience with that. Because it's just so much like focusing on it. TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Where? Then above those are two. These buttons are right next to each other. Are two. Okay. There we go. Oh. The super ominous tweet Gordon Ramsay posted. I think you're going to have to remind me who Gordon Ramsay is. Because, first off, no. Second off, I have no idea. Is he another YouTuber? Oh. No. I keep forgetting, like, Windows Explorer keeps trying to open Twitter every time I click any Twitter links rather than just opening Chrome. Some old guy in a suit. But his shadow doesn't match him. Ah, what the heck? There's some really weird photoshops underneath this. I don't know. I mean, you can do whatever you want with Photoshop. Oh. Oh, he's a chef. Maybe he's cooking a cat. I don't know. I don't know. It could mean anything. Or maybe he just wants to get the internet excited. Like, what's the impact of it having a cat? Like, my profile picture has a rabbit in it. What's the big deal? Why is he the cat? I don't know. I mean, it says something's coming. So something's coming.
Toolboxes.
Something's coming. Alright.
I still have food.
Oh! That could make more sense. Wait, what? A fox? Okay. There's fox all over the Twitter? I don't know why anyone would care that much. I mean, anyone can use Photoshop to make an image that's weird. It's just that somebody more popular decided to do it. I don't know. I really don't know this person well, so I can't say much on it. Elon Musk is... That sounds familiar. They mentioned it on Super Mega. He's the Tesla guy or something? I pretty much only know his name from that. A fox cat thing. I don't know. Because they want to... If it's so impactful to people, it's probably because they just want to promote something. And like if people are going to retweet something because they think it's surprising, then... I mean, yeah. That's promotion for them. Now let's bring us back to the base image. A real life Iron Man? Oh. I actually know some people who have run the Iron Man. It's a triathlon they do every now and then in Wisconsin. Although people come from like all over the country to do it. Well, I know I'm not good at it. Okay. I'm just going to look at the completed frame. And then there's a few others that are hiding around in various places. Behind the CRT, I have a backup GameCube in case anything happens to mine. And behind the clock, I have a Game Boy Advance and a DSi and a DS Lite. Over next to the PC, I have my 3DS, my PS Vita, and my PSP. And then down next to that toolbox is another PS1. And back in the previous shots, on top of that shelf where I had the snacks and the pillows, there's a Wii on top of that, which was actually the first console I ever owned. Which, yeah, I have 3 Wiis in this room. And then there's a few... Behind the CRT, I have a back... And then there's a few others that are hiding around in various places. Behind the CRT, I have a backup GameCube in case anything happens to mine. How quick is that? Places. Behind the CRT... That's a good... Oh, this is the clear one. So, I need it to fade out. Considering this is only a 4-pixel fade, I don't even know if I even need to bother with this many fade levels to get to it. The coolest CEO of a major company? Yeah, I guess I don't know many of those. I think the only CEO that I really know all that well is the CEO of Princeton Club. What? You guys see this? Right here? The man's a genius. Oh, no one clipped that. Yes. The thing is, there's something in this room tour video, guys, that will probably surprise you. Let me see if I can find it. One particular quote that will just, like, completely warp the way that you perceive me. It was actually in yesterday's stream. And my favorite video. So yeah, oh. So this will come as a surprise to a few of you if you think you know me. Although I guess it's something that's brought up less frequently, but, and my favorite video game series ever, the Mario RPG franchise. No comment. This is behind the CRT. Is behind various places. Behind are hiding around in various places. It's because it blurs it there. Well, that's the thing. As it stands, yeah, that's probably fine. As it stands, Metroid, the Mario RPG franchise, and Zelda are all my favorite series of all time. The thing is, I like Metroid games the most of those three franchises. I like Mario RPG games the second most of those three franchises. I like Legend of Zelda games the third most of those three franchises. But as far as how many installments there are in each series that I actually really like, Metroid has the fewest, then the Mario RPG series, then the Zelda series. So the amount of games in the franchises that I really like kind of balances out with the amount of games or the amount of enjoyment that I get out of the franchise as a whole, if that makes any sense. And Mario RPG is kind of the middle ground balance in there. So as far as franchise I enjoy the most, it is Metroid. The series that I enjoy the most and like the most games and like a very large number of games from is Zelda. The game series in the middle for both of those is Mario RPG. Behind the CRT, I have a backup. Behind the CRT, I have a back. Oh no. Alexa, add Levi Ruined Metroid to my shopping list.
Levi Ruined Metroid added to your shopping list.
It hurts. I mean, how much do you care about Metroid? You just played the first game, which is objectively probably one of the worst ones in the series. Behind the CRT, I have a backup. GameCube. These are all going to be out of order. That's fine. What have you shared with the world? What? You guys see this? Right here? The man's a genius. You left in the part where I just laugh and put my face on the desk. I didn't realize the audio was up so hard or so high that you could like hear my breathing like that though, so maybe I'll turn it down a little bit. That might be better. I didn't realize that I could just go and it would be super loud. Oh yeah, they're super good. GameCube, in case anything happens to mine. Oh, it's because I didn't get the next. And behind the clock, I have a Game Boy Advance and a DSi and a DS Lite. To mine. There we are.
Metroid! Metroid for everyone! Ah!
Over next to the PC, I have my 3DS, my PS Vita, and my PSP.
Oh, wait, why did that happen? There we are. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. There we are.
Over next to the PC, I have my 3DS.
Why is it doing that? Okay. That fixed it. If you couldn't see what was happening, it was like really warping around like a section of footage that was already placed into it for some reason.
Light. Over next to the PC. Over next to that. And then down next to that toolbox is that.
That's working fine.
Toolbox is another PS1. And back in the previous shots, on top of that shelf where I had the...
What happened? There's so many Metroids! Oh my goodness, you people are crazy. I mean, does my logic, like, not make any sense in that situation? It's like, say, if, like, you've got your favorite game of all time, and your second favorite game of all time, and your third favorite game of all time, except your first is a single game, and your second is a duology or whatever they're called, and the third is a trilogy, then like it kind of balances out, doesn't it? Does that make any sense?
Then down next to that toolbox is another PS1. Snacks and the pillows. There's a Wii on top of that, which was actually the first console I ever owned.
I identify as a Metroid. There is no escape. Zebes has claimed me.
Where the heck is my sanity? Oh, there it is. What are you doing to me? There we are.
GameCube in case anything happens to mine, and behind the clock I have a Game Game Boy Advance and a DSi and a DS Lite. Over next to the PC, I have my .3DS, my PS Vita, and my PSP. And then down next to that toolbox is another PS1. PS1. And back in the previous shots, on top of that shelf where I had the snacks and the pillows, there's a Wii on top of that, which was actually the first console I ever owned.
Okay. That looks a little odd as it is, but if we line them up, yeah, the lengths are a little odd because I didn't think about that when I put them in. Yay! It's not the first console I ever had access to, it's just the first one I ever owned. Before that, we had a family N64. I borrowed a Game Boy Color for like 2 months off somebody, and I kind of indefinitely borrowed a DS Lite from somebody who like moved away after they let me play a game on it, and then I got in contact with them and they just said I could keep it because they didn't have anything else they wanted to do with it. So the Wii was the first one that I was just obtained, and it was like, it's mine, I'm not borrowing it, I'm not using the family one, it's the one that I have. But it was still treated like a family system anyway. But back... There's no fade there. And then... And then there's a few others that are... Okay. So, yeah, today we got up from about 4 minutes to almost 7 minutes. Because so much detail is in this one section, so I didn't need to change images all that much. So, let's see, is there a fade there? Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking that might be a good idea for this. All right. Maybe not that much. There we are. Oh. Poptropica. I don't think I know what that is. I have almost no experience with Flash games. Yeah. For me, I did still play a few consoles before I got the Wii. Well, we've got 7 minutes of footage, and I think I'll probably call it a stream after
the review of this. I'm going to finish the existing scenes that we're doing now, and then. So, I guess. Oh, that's cool. And so I'm just going to mute the mic, and we're going to see where it's at so far. But due to it not being exported and being rendered like real time in the software, some areas might stutter or look blurry. What's wrong with the stream? What happened? Hello? Something wrong? Have I mistaked? Oh. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah. But I'll just review this because I wanted to finish this section. Then the final section is in the next editing segment. Yes. But I'm going to mute the mic and we're going to see what the progress of it so far looks like. And then if there's anything that needs to be changed with the existing stuff, then I'll do that. Honestly, Metroid Prime 4 being, like, delayed is, like, the best thing that's happened to its development. Because that just means we're going to get a better game. No matter who's working on it. I'm really happy that Retro's working on it. I just hope that they can make it more like Metroid Prime 1 and 2 and less like what they did with Metroid Prime 3, which kind of ruined the Metroid Prime formula in a lot of ways. So, like, their most recent attempt at the Metroid series was a bit underwhelming, but they've proven that they can do some really good stuff with it. Yeah. But let's see where it's at. Just keep in mind it might stutter or be blurry. That's just because it's in editing, not fully exported.
Hello everybody, my name is Levi, and welcome to the room tour for 2019. A lot of you have been asking me about this for probably longer than I'd like to admit, and after all the waiting, it's finally here. So, let's get into it.
So to start, here we have the back half of the room. This is the half of the room that's less so a studio space and more so a bedroom. Over here on the right is a shelf that I have for both company and pets. Up on the top is a bunch of just snacks and drinks, so whenever I have company over, they can easily just grab something. I have a section where I keep the pillows and the blanket on my couch when they're not in use. And then at the bottom, I have all of the stuff for, like, any kind of messes or cleanup, as well as anything I might need for taking care of pets. Just to the left of that is my dresser, and then on top of that I have a cage for rats and a cage for Bunky, who's my rabbit. The rat cage on the right is actually empty right now. It's just that it's really hard to disassemble, and I want rats again, so I'm just leaving it set up in hopes of being able to fill it again sometime soon. On the left is Bunky. He's not normally indoors, but during the colder months, we bring him inside so he doesn't have to deal with all the cold. And to the left of that, I have a bunch of miscellaneous shelving, some smaller items that I don't really have a place for otherwise, a bunch of scented candles, my backpack, my coat, a few boxes for products that I have, and at the bottom of that is a shelf with a bunch of games on it. At the very back of the room is my door, where I have some posters from the SNES, the NES, the Sega Genesis. I have some Shovel Knight artwork I made, a few pieces of memorabilia from my time in band, and some hats. And the last thing on this side of the room is my bed. It's part of a bunk bed, so I can actually raise it up really high so I have a clear view of the TV from across the room. But also, when I was in the dorms about 3 years ago, I had a huge shelf that I had in there because I couldn't wall mount anything. And it's also raised up because I have to somehow store that shelf, but there's also a bunch of other storage under there. Up above that, I've got all kinds of posters, my favorite being the one on the far right, which is actually a big frame filled with all of the pictures I took at Con Bravo and a little poster in the middle signed by everyone I met at Con Bravo. A lot of these posters that you see on the left side are all from the same place. They're from an Etsy store called Espionian Posters, and they're my favorite posters in the room. I've gotten so many kinds of posters at so many sizes from so many places, and these are by far my favorite ones. The colors are the most vibrant and they feel the most durable. Right now they actually have a sale on their store where it's buy two, get one free. So definitely check that out, links below. And now onto the front half of the room. Right here is the wall filled with all kinds of memorabilia and merchandise that I've picked up or made throughout the years, as well as some of the seating. Right in the middle of the room is where I keep the double recliner. This is where we normally sit whenever we want to play something on the TVs as opposed to the PC. To the right of it is yet another wall full of posters. In between that and the TVs is where I keep a lot of my collectibles. In the lower section I have two shelves filled with a lot of the smaller items. This is where I have special editions to some games, displays for all of my music CDs, and my favorite video game series ever, the Mario RPG franchise. I've got a bunch of plushies, and there's even some stuff from Metroid that I made. Up above that I have several video game weapons, as well as a few of my art projects. Up at the top of that is where I store the majority of my amiibo on a custom-made shelf. At the very top is where I keep the Sword of the Six Sages, as well as the boxes to most of my consoles. There's also a few clips in the ceiling in case I want to hang up a blue screen or a green screen. And here at the very far end of the room is all of the technology, more or less. There's the TVs, the PC, the consoles, pretty much anything that you would usually see me using on the stream, or anything that is often behind scenes since the camera's usually not pointed at it. To start, up on top, I have my PC, which is typically 3 monitors, but I can add in the main TV in the center as a fourth if I need it. On the left, I have a CRT for any kind of retro games, because they just look and run far better on there. And right in the center of all that is the consoles. So I've been collecting these for really not as long as most people. I've only had 1 or 2, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. But I've gradually been adding them in. That way I don't have to worry about any kind of limitation whenever I want a game. In total, there is anywhere from 25 to about 40 consoles here. The reason that number is a variable is because if you include things like backwards compatibility or owning duplicates of a console. But in general, there's around 25 to 30 instances of a unique console. On the first shelf, directly underneath the TV, I have the Nintendo Switch. Right behind that is the Wii U gamepad. And all around that are the various rechargeable controllers that I have. One level below that, I have the Wii U, one of my Wiis, the central speaker to my surround sound system, my Nintendo 64, a Retron 5, which doesn't actually work anymore, but that would be playing NES, Famicom, Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy regular, and Sega Genesis, if it did work. The next shelf down, I have a PlayStation 4, a PlayStation 3, a PlayStation 2, and a PlayStation 1. And under that, I have the Xbox One, the Xbox 360, and the Xbox Original. Just over to the side of that, I have the Sega Genesis, the Sega Dreamcast, and then a GameCube with the Game Boy Player attachment, which lets you play the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Original games. And right to the far left is my main box for the sound system, and on top of that I have the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. And at the very bottom I also have another CRT and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. And then there's a few others that are hiding around in various places. Behind the CRT I have a backup GameCube in case anything happens. What was what? Was something wrong in the video? Did I miss something? Like a Dreamcast. So for the duration, if you know Jake or Dream, who's been in the stream a few times, like for Deltarune and Beat Saber and Dungeons and Dragons, his online name is Dream, and it's specifically based on the Dreamcast. So for the duration of me saying the word Dream, there's a cutout of him. So literally during
I say the Sega Dreamcast. No, this is when he was like slashing a samurai sword all over the place for I forget which stream. But like it's only for the duration of the word dream when I'm saying the Dreamcast. So it's not for like a random single frame or just for the entire duration of the Dreamcast being brought up. It's just the part where it says dream. Yeah. Cast, and then a GameCube with the Game Boy player attachment, which lets you play the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy.
I'm not sure what the
Original
headphone
games.
thing
And
is,
right
though.
to the far left is my main box for the sound system, and on top of that, I have the NES Classic and the SNES Classic.
This is the part where I wanna
and
make
at
sure
the
it's
very
all
bottom,
right.
I also have another CRT and another HD TV in case I want to bring it somewhere. Then above those are 2 toolboxes. And then there's a few others that are hiding around in various places. Behind the CRT, I have a backup GameCube in case anything happens to mine, and behind the clock, I have a Game Boy Advance. Oh, that was on Crispy's stream. That wasn't anything to do with Dream. Advance, and I just want to be sure this is all correct. A backup GameCube in case anything happens to mine, and behind the clock I have a Game Boy Advance and a DSi and a DS Lite. Over next to the PC I have my 3DS, my PS Vita, and my PSP, and then down next to that toolbox is another PS1. And back in the previous shots, on top of that shelf where I had the snacks and the pillows, there's a Wii on top of that, which was actually the first console I ever owned.
Okay. That works well. So yeah, that's where the video is at so far. It's already like, yeah, it's about 7 minutes long, and there's 1 or 2 segments left. Yeah. Yeah, so we did the introduction, back half of the room, memorabilia wall, consoles and TV wall, and all that's left is the PC and desk wall, and then the outro where I talk about the sequel to this video, which is going to be a much lower production thing, but I'm making a sequel afterwards. Just talking about, like, questions that people had regarding the room, or if there's things people wanted a closer look at, or whatever else. Thank you. Much appreciated. Yes. But, where is all this? Okay. Oh, wow. I have, like, no friends that are live. Huh. Who am I supposed to raid? Ah! What's up, Peeps 958? Hey, Peeps! Did you ever get my message on Discord? We wanted to do some No More Heroes 2. I fear it may be too late. I mean, there's only a single person I'm following on Twitch that's actually live right now. So, let's see if you can guess who it is.
I'm gonna take it easy. I don't know how fast I have to go, but I know I'm not good at this.
I think we might raid this guy. What? What's wrong? What is it, Ryan? Speak your wisdom. Or stupidity. Whichever one you want to use right now. Oh, do you really want to start a stream right now? I've kind of run out of things that I want to do tonight, so... Yeah. Alright. Let us progress to the next challenge of the evening. I don't know. If you've got any of the emotes... Oh, you did? Oh, in that chat? I didn't even notice. But yes, we will move on. If I don't know what kind of raid message you want to do, just like the Levi Bechtold raid in all caps or something. Whatever works for you. If you have the emotes, use that, but I don't think anyone really does. So let's go. Charge! Well, we got 2 raiders at least. That'll work. See you guys there.
Okay. Yeah, like I would. This game, I think I would enjoy speed because I like long speed runs. Oh, it's clicking. Oh gosh. Oh come. Rated with a party of 2. That's a little scary. How do you randomize a Zelda game? Someone posted the link in the chat, although it's probably lost. But all you gotta do, Google Wind Waker randomizer. You gotta get an ISO of this game, which an ISO is just the